Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love it when you guys send over stuff that really gets us thinking, and well, this essay you sent, Machines of Loving Grace, definitely did that.
It really did. Dario Amodei, he's the CEO over at Anthropic, the AI safety company, and he lays out this vision of AI's potential that's crazy optimistic, but like in a way that feels grounded.
Yeah, it's not just hype. He's talking about AI giving us a century's worth of progress, but in just 10 years. And we're not talking about slightly faster smartphones here.
Right, this is like next level stuff. Think breakthroughs in medicine, economics, even how we govern ourselves.
Basically, everything changes. So, ready to take a deep dive and see if this radical future Amodei is painting is actually possible.
Let's do it.
Okay, so one of the things that really struck me about Amodei's essay is that he's not just talking about slightly smarter algorithms, right? He's envisioning a future where we have millions, maybe even billions, of AI experts all working together, all way smarter than any human expert.
Yeah, it's like think about a country of geniuses all living inside a data center, except instead of millions of people, it's millions of these super intelligent AI agents collaborating, innovating.
Okay, so not one super AI to rule them all, but a whole society of AI geniuses all striving towards some common goal.
Exactly. But, and this is important, Amodei doesn't shy away from the complexities. He brings up this idea of marginal returns to intelligence. Basically, there are limits to what even incredibly intelligent AI can achieve,
So it's like you could have a supercomputer that can solve equations in a nanosecond.
which sounds amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
But if you're using those equations to design a new drug, you still need to actually, run the experiments, get the lab results, deal with regulations, all that real world stuff.
It's like having a super fast race car, but the track is still under construction.
Yes, perfect analogy. So even brilliant AI can't bypass real world limitations. And that changes how we should think about AI's impact, right?
Absolutely, because some areas are going to be more impacted than others. Some fields are going to see much more dramatic changes.
So where does Amadei see the most potential for this kind of compressed progress? Where's that super fast race car going to have the biggest impact?
He thinks biology is ripe for revolution. Amodei argues that AI could give us a century's worth of medical breakthroughs, but in just 1 decade.
Hold up. A whole century of progress crammed into 10 years. Okay, now we're talking about something truly mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. But think about it this way. We're not just talking about AI crunching data faster, though it can certainly do that. Amodei is talking about AI actually acting like researchers themselves, designing experiments, connecting dots that humans might miss.
So it's not just about speed, it's about a different kind of intelligence at work.
Right. Like imagine AI coming up with entirely new tools and technologies, stuff we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Okay, I'm hooked. So what specific breakthroughs does Amodei think are possible in this compressed time frame? You know we love specifics on this show.
Well, he calls out a few examples, things like CRISPR and mRNA vaccines, stuff that's already revolutionizing medicine.
Right.
But he's imagining that pace of discovery of breakthroughs increasing tenfold, 100-fold.
Wow.
So we're talking eradicating diseases like cancer, achieving something he called biological freedom. Imagine having complete control over your own physical form.
Whoa, hold on a second. Back up. Does that mean like choosing your height like you choose a phone plan? Is that what biological freedom means?
It's a pretty radical concept, but that's just one example. He even suggests that we could extend the healthy human lifespan significantly. Think about the 20th century life expectancy practically doubled.
Yeah, that's true.
So who knows what's possible with this kind of accelerated progress?
Okay, deep breaths, everyone. Imagine a world where cancer is a distant memory, and maybe your grandkids get to choose their height. It's a lot to process.
It is.
But Amadei doesn't stop at reshaping our bodies, right?
Yeah.
He dives head first into the world of the mind.
And that's where it gets even wilder. We were just talking about like potentially doubling lifespans, but Amodei thinks AI could revolutionize how we understand the brain even more than its impact on our physical health.
Okay, now that is a bold statement. What makes him so optimistic about AI's potential in the realm of, like, the mind, the stuff we can't even really see?
So there have been these breakthroughs in AI lately, particularly in something called AI interpretability. Basically, we're starting to understand how these AI systems think, right? Like peeking inside the black box.
Which has always been kind of the holy grail of AI research, right?
Exactly. And Amodei thinks these insights we're getting about AI could actually unlock secrets about consciousness itself, our own brains.
So instead of just AI being a tool, it could teach us something fundamental about, well, us.
Right, exactly.
That's a pretty profound idea.
hmm
But how does this translate into, like, actually treating mental illness? I know our listeners, they want the concrete stuff.
Okay, so he lays out four main avenues. The first one is kind of what you'd expect, which is AI turbocharging traditional research, molecular biology, genetics, leading to new meds, new therapies, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, faster analysis, more discoveries makes sense. What about the other avenues?
Second one, and this is where it gets really interesting, Emoto envisions AI allowing us to actually measure and intervene in the brain with incredible precision.
Okay, how precise are we talking?
Think targeting specific neurons, specific neural circuits, like pinpoint accuracy.
Whoa. It's like the difference between using a sledgehammer and, like, a super precise laser scalpel, but for your brain.
Exactly. And then third, he believes that the actual principles behind AI, training a system on massive data, that this could revolutionize computational neuroscience.
So not just better tools, but a fundamentally different way of understanding the brain.
Right. Imagine being able to simulate whole brain regions, maybe even whole brains.
Okay, now we're getting into some sci-fi territory here.
hmm
What about that fourth avenue?
Okay, so the fourth one focuses on behavioral interventions. Imagine having like a personalized AI coach available 24/7.
Okay, so like a therapist, cheerleader, and life coach all rolled into one, powered by algorithms.
Yeah, something like that. And because it's AI, it's constantly learning about you, adapting to your needs. Amodei thinks AI could be incredibly effective in that domain.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like having a personal trainer for your brain, always pushing you to be your best. But let's be real. Mental health is complex, super complex. Is Amodei really saying AI could cure mental illness?
Cure might be a strong word, but he is surprisingly optimistic. He believes that once we truly understand how the brain works, all the intricate mechanisms we can develop targeted interventions, not just for like depression and anxiety, but things like PTSD, schizophrenia.
So actually addressing the root causes, not just treating the
Oh,
symptoms.
exactly. And he sees AI's ability to sift through these massive data sets, identifying patterns, uncovering the underlying causes of mental illness. That's what he thinks is going to be a game changer.
I mean, it's an incredible vision, right? But you also have to wonder, if we can literally reshape our minds with AI, where does it end? Like, what does it even mean to be human at that point?
That's the crux of Amodei's argument. He's painting this picture of a future where tech doesn't just fix what's broken, but it reshapes what it means to be human.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, so big questions, huge implications. But we've got to address the elephant in the room here, right? We can't talk about all these advancements without talking about global inequality. What happens if only a select few, the wealthy, have access to all this life-changing tech?
You're absolutely right. Amodei acknowledges that AI has the potential to make existing inequalities even worse, especially when we're talking about like access. But he also thinks AI could actually be a force for good when it comes to addressing global inequality.
Okay, so how does he see AI bridging that gap instead of making it wider?
So first off, he thinks AI would be really effective at coordinating these large-scale health interventions. Think, eradicating diseases like malaria, HIV, things that disproportionately impact developing nations.
Right. Diseases that, for the most part, we've already eradicated in wealthier countries.
Exactly. Imagine AI optimizing the logistics of distributing vaccines, treatments, even reaching those really remote parts of the world.
Okay, yeah, that's a powerful image. Using AI to make healthcare truly accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford it. What about, like, the bigger picture, though? Can AI really help lift entire countries out of poverty?
Amodei seems to think so. He suggests that AI could be like a superpowered economic advisor, helping developing countries make smarter decisions about their industrial policy, how to allocate resources, trade. He even uses the term AI finance ministers, which, gotta admit, it's a pretty striking image.
An AI finance minister. In some ways, I think I'd trust an algorithm with my tax dollars more than...
Well, never mind. But seriously, economics is messy. It's human behavior. It's politics. It's not just numbers. What about corruption, instability, all those messy human factors? Oh, for sure. And Amodei isn't naive to those challenges. He stresses that ultimately it's human judgment, human cooperation, a commitment to equity that's what's essential for AI to be a force for good.
So it's not about handing the reins over to the machines completely, but about using AI to, like, augment our own capabilities,
Mm.
helping us make smarter decisions, not just letting the algorithms make all the calls.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And we can't just focus on what AI can do. It's about how we're going to use this incredibly powerful tech to create a world that's more just, more equitable for everyone.
And that brings us to another really crucial part of Amodei's argument, which is the relationship between AI and freedom.
Yes. And it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking about AI as either like a utopian dream or a dystopian nightmare.
Right, robot overlords or a life of leisure and abundance.
Exactly. But Amodei encourages us to think way more critically. Like, how would AI shape the balance of power? Not just between, humans and machines, but within and between nations.
Because it's not hard to imagine AI being used for, well, let's just say less than noble purposes.
Yeah.
We're talking increased surveillance, autonomous weapon systems.
Yeah.
That's some pretty scary stuff.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. Amodei also believes that AI could actually be a powerful force for strengthening democratic values and institutions if, of course, we play our cards right.
So it's not a given that we end up in some kind of Orwellian surveillance state. Like, we still have agency here.
We do. Amodei suggests this idea of an entente strategy. It'd be a coordinated effort led by democratic nations to ensure they maintain a technological edge. But, and this is key, they'd use that AI advantage to incentivize cooperation and discourage authoritarianism around the world.
So it's about setting the rules of the game, in a
Yeah.
way, right? Making sure AI is used to promote freedom and democracy, not to undermine it. This has been such a wide-ranging conversation, but I think there's still a huge question we haven't touched on yet. The one that I think is on a lot of people's minds, which is, what happens to work? What happens to the meaning we derive from work, from, being productive members of society in a world where AI can literally do anything better, faster, and cheaper than we can? It's like the ultimate existential question of the AI age, right? What happens to us when machines can outperform us in basically every field? Do we just become obsolete?
Yeah, it's a scary thought for sure. But Amodei, he has this surprisingly optimistic take on it. He says humans, we find meaning in all sorts of things that AI might never fully grasp. He uses this example of hobbies.
Hobbies. Okay, I'll bite. What do, like, knitting or playing pickleball have to do with the rise of super intelligent AI?
Well, think about it. Most of us aren't going to be like professional athletes, right? Or world-renowned artists. But we still get a ton of satisfaction from pursuing those passions, even if we're not the absolute best.
I mean, yeah, I spend hours trying to perfect my sourdough bread. Will it ever be as good as what I can buy at a bakery? Probably not. But that's not the point. It's the joy of making myself.
There you go. And Amodei's point is that this same principle applies in a world where, yeah, maybe AI is handling a lot of the tasks we associate with work. We'll be free to chase knowledge, to be creative, to focus on self-discovery in ways we can barely even imagine right now.
So it's not about us becoming these passive observers in an AI-driven world. It's about finding new avenues for meaning and purpose.
Yes, it's about redefining our relationship with work, with leisure, with what it even means to be human in a world of, as Amodei puts it, radical abundance.
Radical abundance. I like the
Yeah.
sound of that.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. That kind of utopian vision, it requires some pretty massive changes, right? Like economically, socially. I mean, how do we even get there from where we are now?
Yeah.
Does Amodei offer any, like, concrete solutions?
He admits there are no easy answers, but he does bring up a few possibilities. Things like a universal basic income, for example, to provide a safety net as AI inevitably transforms the job market. He even touches on the idea of, get this, AI basically managing the economy.
Wait, hold on. AI deciding who gets what based on some kind of algorithm? That sounds like it could go very, very wrong very quickly.
For sure, for sure. And to be fair to Amodei, he acknowledges those risks. He's not saying it has all the answers, but he's trying to get people thinking, challenging us to think about how we want to structure society in this age of AI.
So it's a call to action, really, for all of us, policymakers, economists, philosophers, everyone, to start really wrestling with these questions now, before it's too late.
Exactly, because the future with AI, it isn't some predetermined thing, it's what we make it.
This has been, without a doubt, one of our most thought-provoking deep dives yet. We've gone from eradicating diseases to, like, the very nature of consciousness and what it means to be human. My head is spinning. But if there's one big takeaway from Amodei's essay and from our deep dive here today, it's that the future with AI is not set in stone. It's a future we have the power to shape. So to our listeners, here's our final provocative thought for you. If this radical future is possible, what role will you play in making it a reality?
It's a question we're thinking about because the future is being written right now.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the possibilities. Until next time, keep on learning, keep on questioning, and keep on diving deep.